Y'all, I'm so happy to have y'all here. Can we cheers to this?
Cheers.
Cheers, y'all, to a good night. You better sip that, Wale. Okay, so let's talk about this movie, Love and Basketball, y'all. Is it overrated, underrated, or would we say it's properly rated?
Overrated.
What? Ain't she ready?
Why?
Go ahead, break it down, girl.
I think as I watch it now, it's not that great of a film as we think it is. And I'm gonna stand on that.
You know they gonna.
I know they're not gonna like it because that was everyone's love story, but I just feel like, I don't know if I should talk from a production perspective or the script or just, I don't know. I just think, okay, I'm gonna just talk from the script overall. I think the script is amazing. I think the story is amazing. I just think it's unrealistic for me.
Which part is
I feel like as I watch, I feel like I'm just coming from the perspective as me as an adult. Growing up, that was my film, but I remember when it first came out on Netflix, I was like, I'm not really hype about this film. And as I'm watching, I'm like, I got to a point where I was falling asleep on it. I'm like, this is actually kind of boring. Like, it lags. Like, as I'm watching, I'm like, I'm realizing that this story kind of boring to watch.
I disagree.
Okay.
That's fine.
I think it's underrated. I think the fact that it stood the test of time and we can talk about it through today's lens over 2 decades later, regardless of maybe, there's more technology and we can do more in film, we can do green screen, this and that, we can still talk about Love and Basketball through today's lens. Not only, obviously, as you mentioned, it's not Love and Basketball through Monica and Quincy, but also Quincy and his father, Monica and her family. And I think all of that encapsulates to a lot of things happening in present day life. And so I think it's underrated because we're constantly able to mirror what it looks like today, whether it's today, 5 years ago, 5 years in the future. And I just think it's going to continue to evolve in a different way based on the way the world is, so.
I think it's accurately, rated. But there's one thing that's incorrect. There's no way an NBA star is living next door to a banker.
I wondered that.
The salaries don't make sense. But that's it. Other than that.
Actually, out in Jersey, one of my chapter brothers, he definitely lives next to, like, this young boy has a summer home in the Hamptons, and he's a banker.
Yep.
They print money. You know what I'm saying? So it's very possible that they are next to.
So what's your take? Is it underrated?
I actually like your point because if you look at the popularity of the WNBA today, I think that really encapsulates what a female basketball player has to go through to make it or to be recognized or be seen as equal or all of that. And just everything that they go through, especially we see how Brittany Griner, we see kind of how women have to go overseas to make it. Then they come back and play in the WNBA, et cetera, et cetera. You see everything Monica had to go through to be seen as Quincy's equal. You know what I'm saying? So I think it does hold the test of time, especially where we are now, because the WNBA is very, very popular.
And to add to that, I think that for me, it just set the example of what everybody's dealing with today in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? In terms of relationships, what we deal with in terms of, with our families or with our loved ones, with our friends. These scenes have, I'm sure, in one shape, form, or fashion have played out in all of our lives. Not for me in basketball ways, but maybe, in terms of the relationship, and it kind of shows you what women have to go through. Then it shows you what men have to go through. It also shows you psychologically how these things affect us in our futures, right? How our past is so important to our future. We forget about that when we go throughout our daily lives. And so I feel as though it was just trying to bring not only the love and basketball aspect, but from a mental health standpoint, what we all talk about today, mental health, mental awareness. Are you okay, right? And we learned that, Quincy was not okay. We learned that Monica was not okay. How they actually, to me, were both of each other's demise in a sense. And how in our life now, I'm sure we've had that situation before with somebody. So I felt like it was good. I know sometimes it might seem overly hyped in terms of the acting or, how they react, but it had its place, it had its purpose, and that's just production. A lot of these things are drastic because they have to do the most to get the bare minimum from the audience too.
You know what you've reminded me? Every movie doesn't have to be an Oscar winner. Like,
Right.
that literally served its purpose to connect to the culture.
Correct.
And to your point, have the conversations that we're having today nowadays, so we could reflect. And I'm sure it's made us a better person. I hopefully we remember all this one in our own relationships.
Yeah. Nah, but I mean, if you think about it, I guarantee you, so many films today look at Love and Basketball for the groundwork and the framework to build a strong film.
Which
and
film?
Also, every sports film, I'm sure that involves Black people, looks at Love and Basketball in terms of, okay, what do you think?
It was great. It was great character development.
John Singleton
I'm not
is
saying
a
the
legend.
film sucks. I just think that it is overrated. Like compared to other films that are doing the same exact thing, the same thing, for me,
20 years ago?
it's not. Yeah, 20 years ago, it's not the same. Like
White man
that's
can't
just
jump is better
me. No, of course not.
First and foremost, John Singleton is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. So everything he makes is a classic. Am I right or wrong, good brother? Thank you.
But time out. So time out. Chazzy, I want to throw it back to you. Ultimately, we saw what happened at the end. Yes. Monica sacrificed for Quincy, but she ended up being the breadwinner. Do you feel as though she made the right decision?
So can I don't know if this is the answer you want, but right off bat, how he responded to her, I would have went back in the house. I think like when she wanted to play him for his heart, the way he responded, and what did he say?
Double or nothing. The ending.
But how rude he was before.
He was
Once
literally
again,
like,
he
"You
pushed her.
serious?
Yes.
I'm about to get married tomorrow," and I would have been her sister in the window, like, get your in the house.
That's what I'm saying.
Too
The
much.
girls feel me. Thank you.
It was. She settled. She
was
settled.
tacky. It
You
was very
didn't
tacky.
even date to realize there's other men outside of Quincy who was much better than him. You settled to something that you were comfortable with. You literally was overseas, came back home to try and work a conforming job like you're your mom, gave up basketball to be next door to this man, to watch him in your window. Like, girl, what? This is not who you are.
She was fighting to
lost
be
that fire.
accepted. I think it's because she was fighting so hard to be accepted. She wasn't accepted by her mom. So now she's using Quincy as like this, I guess, to fill this void that she had. Like sometimes when you're in relationships, you only see that person. It's easy for us to be like, yeah, there's mad fish in the sea. But a lot of times you're like,
Quincy also represented like the love she had for basketball. Like no one else loved her basketball, how much she felt about basketball other than her father. And so Quincy was that for her. He accepted her as a basketball player. That's a different type of love.
So it works.
He didn't need the laid hair. He had the ponytail with the shorts. He loved her for playing ball.
He actually was only attracted to her when he saw that another man was in the picture. Let's talk about that.
What, when they were little?
When they went to the dance, he did not care about this girl until he saw that someone else was interested in her. He didn't care about this girl until someone else was interested in her.
Time out. They kissed when they was little.
And then they broke up. He pushed her because she didn't want to buy his bike.
Are you still thinking about anybody you kissed when you were little?
No, I'm just saying, but y'all acting like there wasn't no love there. Childhood
When
love is
they
that's
had
what it
a
is.
friendship, they had a bond, they were comfortable with each other. They lived
But they
next door.
kissed each other. You
They're
gonna be
next
my
door
girl?
neighbors. When he saw her in that dress and saw it, because he was joking on her, like, who you taking to dance? Nobody, you ain't taking nobody to
that's
dance.
cap.
He didn't take her seriously until she pulled up with a dude who looked good, better than him, who was in college. Like, oh, she could pull him. It was an ego thing. That's the only reason he wanted her.
She kissed him outside. He didn't kiss
No.
her. My man was like, what was that?
And then he said, come on.
She started it. Yeah, take it back.
I'm not taking it back. That's the only reason that's the only time he's seen her as a woman.
Oh, leave him alone.
Nah, I'm with that.
of course the men are gonna say,
Yeah,
Quincy.
because they want a woman
course.
who's gonna wait all this time for them.
Yes.
Wait, it's not. Hold on, time out though. Wait, time out.
I like this girl.
Time out. Was it her taking Quincy back, or was she fighting for her own love? She loved him.
She didn't experience anything but him, and it's like, girl, you didn't even give it a chance.
Yeah, but that's a human thing though. We're acting like, you know what I'm saying? Like
She settled.
we have so much control over our
Settled.
emotions like that.
I think this is what makes Love and Basketball so powerful, is because it brings us around a table It makes us go back and forth, and I think that's why it's so powerful. But I appreciate y'all having this conversation.
Yes. Can we cheers again, y'all?
It's still overrated, but go ahead.
Cheers. Again, a good night, y'all.